Alright, so it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which is fantastic. Gotta love it. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm going to wash the outside of the hull to prepare to put some more fairing compound on. And then while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna remove this bulkhead. And then once that bulkhead's removed, I'm gonna do some much needed cleanup in here. And then by that time, everything should be dry on the outside. I'll lay down some fairing compound, and that should be pretty close to about all that I can do for today. That should take about 6 hours, so yeah. Alright, now that we've finished washing the hull, now it's time to remove this here bulkhead. Now we're going to try to remove this as delicately as possible. So, somebody cue the Sparta clip.
This is Sparta!
Now, as you can see, the whole reason for removing that is because this stuff, it's not even, you know, yeah, I was not too smart for doing it that way. So yeah, we're not going to reuse that because I'm sure that something here is going to change. But that is now the last bulkhead that's, you know, in here. So I don't think I'm gonna really mess with that tabbing just yet. I don't know. This here though, I think we can go ahead and remove that. I don't see a reason why not to. Everything else is already moved out of the way, so might as well go ahead and take care of that. And also, I want to see if y'all can see this on camera. I don't know if you'll be able to or not, but I'm gonna do my best to show you. I need to get bulkheads back in this thing pretty quick like. And the reason for that is because if I sit like this, I shimmy shangle the boat. I don't know if the camera wiggled, but I can feel the whole boat just sitting there doing this. So I believe the hull is perfectly strong enough to keep its shape until I get some new bulkheads in. And in the event that it's not, well, that's going to be very interesting a couple of years down the road. So let's hope that the hull's good and thick enough to hold her shape, and I reckon we'll get on to removing that shelf. Alright, so the chances of the camera falling are pretty high, but two of my favorite tools to use for pretty much removing anything in the boat aside from a foot is a multi-tool, which this DeWalt actually does pretty damn good. I'm usually a hardcore Milwaukee fan, but this thing does pretty good. And a slightly soggy hammer. Those are the two tools of choice in this. say that is successfully removed. I'll come back eventually and trim this down. I just like leaving a little bit just so that I can see exactly where it was originally. That's kind of why I'm leaving these, I guess, knees in place as well. I don't really like that the knees don't really come down and then attach to the hole down here, but I don't really have a way around that, because I know on most boats they come all the way down and usually attach to the hull, but there's no cracking or delamination going on here, so I reckon it's plenty strong enough. So that's probably why I'm gonna leave the other side alone as well, but we'll go ahead and remove the one piece of shelving that's over there while we got the multi-tool out. I'd say that's clean. There is one more thing I would very much enjoy removing just because I don't like it. So this lovely box right here is filled with some sort of oil, which I've been dumping sawdust and all other kinds of stuff in, just to try to help absorb that oil just so it doesn't go all down in the bilge once I do break this thing off. This won't be done in this video, but it's definitely coming up pretty soon. And then all of this here is gonna get removed just so that I can re-glass in some stuff. And what I'm probably gonna end up doing, because that is a lot of space that's wasted. So what I'm gonna probably end up doing is bringing all this over to probably about right here. And then there'll be a wall that comes up and then over here, and we'll have, you know, storage up underneath this. I'll cut little hatches and stuff like that just to be able to store stuff down here. As for the bracing in the back here towards the stern where the rudder post is, I think I might change that up a little bit. It just kind of looks thrown together, so I don't really like it, and I'm sure it's probably due for replacement anyways. And then the really fun part that I'm just gonna enjoy so much is all of this, you know, the hull inside needs to be sanded, and that's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for that. Like, yeah. Anyways, I reckon we will get started on cleaning up the boat a little bit. So I'm gonna try to find a place to put my phone where it's not in the middle of the companionway so that I don't knock the phone over. So yeah, all right. All right, well, it's certainly not perfect, but it's good enough for now. I'm not really worrying about this spot here because still got some demo that's got to be done there. Not really worried about this spot here just because I'm OCD, and if I'm not gonna do this side, then, you know. Anyways, So yeah, that's much better. One of the next steps, which won't happen in this video, but more than likely the next. This bulkhead here is gonna get sanded. I'm gonna apply some epoxy to that. And same thing with this side. I may remove this just so I can make sure I've got the whole thing really waterproofed. And in here, I'll probably epoxy along the back edges there. And just might redo some of this right here because where the water has been coming in kind of affected that a little bit. So yeah, and then I'm gonna inject the places that need to be injected, like up there and on the side over here. And yeah, then I'm gonna come in here with a pressure washer, start pressure washing everything. And well, actually no, I'm getting a little ahead of myself there because that's got to be sanded, that's got to be sanded, that's got to be sanded. So you can do that and then sand that and sand this. And probably gonna sand that too while I'm at it, which I really don't want to do that part because that's probably gonna be the worst part of it all, especially, you know, over here because it's all flaky. And I mean, I guess I have safety goggles, so that's fine. Last time I did it, I had flakes just flying into my eye like crazy. It was nuts. But yeah, so after we get that done, then pretty much trim up, you know, around here and trim off all the excess fiberglass and stuff like that, and then sand it down, get the hole nice and clean, and then we're gonna be pretty dang close to the rebuilding phase. So we're getting there. And what I'm probably gonna end up doing is rebuilding the dinette and the galley, the galley first, and then after that I'll do the 2 bunks here, and then we're gonna start ripping apart the V-berth after we've got majority of the stuff, you know, in here done. So that's kind of the plan so far. I do, while I have this whole bulkhead situation out of the way and everything, I do want to go ahead and get all of that in there sanded, remove all the wood that's in there that I need to, and just pretty much work on that. I'd really like to try to find a way to get my fuel tank to where it'll sit back there. I don't know if that's going to be possible though. I think what I may end up doing is just kind of having a custom one built that just sits, you know, right here. So have one on this side and then one on that side, and that should give me a pretty darn decent amount of fuel. If I had to guess, I'd probably say somewhere around 160, 180 gallons of fuel, which is absolute overkill. But I've had to motor for 3 days in the Gulf of Mexico, America, one of the two. Yeah, whichever one it is now. I don't know if it's official or not. I don't keep up with all that stuff. But yeah, so I've had to motor for 3 days in the Gulf due to just absolutely no wind. So that little Perkins may be, you know, getting a nice workout. So I don't know, but now I guess we'll check and see if the hull is dry, and if the hull's dry, then we can start laying down some fairing compound. And I don't have very much left, and you'll see that in a minute. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so hull's nice and dry and ready. The reason I said we're not gonna have a whole lot of fairing compound is because that's about how much I got left in there. And yeah, so we don't really have a whole bunch. The other thing is, I was kind of stupid and left the top off of these one day, and yeah, but I did do a little test to mix them together, make sure they still hardened, weren't like tacky or anything like that. They seem like they were fine. This is the stuff that I'm using, and it is pretty easy to sand. So just gonna mix some of that up together and apply it with this. I tried to apply it with this that I made, but it seemed to just be a little bit too rigid. It didn't really put on enough. That's
where this is over here. And that's not the big reason. The big reason I'm not using it is because you can see it puts these giant pinholes like all throughout the whole thing. So I'm already gonna have to fair this multiple times, and I know that, to get rid of the pinholes. This was a mixture between the board and the putty scraper or putty spreader. It's a little bit better. And then over here is where I used only the putty scraper, and you can see it actually did a pretty darn good job, and it's a lot quicker to apply, and it doesn't take a whole crazy amount of strength to, you know, put it on there. So just gonna stick with the putty spreader for now, I guess. So let's set the camera up, and we'll go ahead and get this stuff mixed up and start applying some fairing compound. Alright, now I'm sure there's quite a bit of people out there who are a heck of a lot smarter than me and like see quite a bit of mistakes that I've done. But for me, this is the first layer of fairing compound, so I'm not really all that concerned about it. This is just to get rid of most of the deep, you know, dimples and lumps and stuff in the hull. That's all that I'm gonna lay down today, because I want to give it enough time to cure, because this stuff is supposed to, you know, be able to cure down to 50 degrees, and we're currently sitting at about 58 right now, and the temperature is fixing to start dropping. So I want to make sure I give this stuff enough time to cure before we get those cold temperatures. So that's gonna probably be it for this video. Next video, I'm not quite sure what exactly I'll be working on yet, but I'm sure I'll come up with something this week while I'm at work. So yep, I reckon I'll see y'all next time I get another 2 days off.